Howdy y'all.
Hi guys.
It's Ryan
And Angela.
from Kaiser Capos in Canton, Texas. Actually, we're not from Kaiser Capos, but Kaiser is in Canton, Texas.
Yes, it is.
They're great people. Kaiser
Yes.
Capos.
Yes. Home of the capo.
Home of the capo. Anyways, we're from RNA Music, your favorite mom and pop guitar shop and music lesson studio.
That's right.
Deep in the heart of Texas. And we're here to answer y'all's questiones. So excited. Yeah. Let's get to it. All right, y'all, welcome back to, as we said, RNA Music.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to answer some questions about stuff and things.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. This is episode 308.
Oh, I thought we were at 309 last week.
I don't know. I think it was 307. It was 307.
I don't know, Beth. Okay.
It's episode 300 something of ASK RNA. If you're one of our long-term viewers, go ahead, thumbs up down there, get your comment fingers ready to comment on this video and ask a question for next week. If you're new here, just go ahead and do a thumbs up and subscribe because you're gonna like it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
You're gonna enjoy it. Anyways, and if you want some swaggity swag, I'm sorry, I do not have any Kaiser swaggity swag here at the shop right now. But if you want some RNA Music swaggity swag, links down in the description to our Teespring store. You can get you a t-shirt, some socks, a cuppy cup. Not this cuppy cup, but some leggings. Various RNA t-shirts. Go ahead, take a peek at that. Get you one if you want. And without further ado, let's get to the questions. I'm so excited. There's a million questions today. We're going to get to all of them. Very concise. Don't take it forever to edit. All right, first question. Just Fun Guitar, all the way from England. Hashtag ATMA, hashtag RNA, hashtag Peloton, hashtag Giant Texas Babies.
Yes.
Cool to see the classic venue for the episode. Cool skateboarding also. Yeah, I did some sweet skateboarding tricks last week.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, that was me. I think you have a good direction with the online stuff. New question. Which is the oldest motorcycle? Harley Davidson or Triumph? And have you ever owned either? Or either? Okay.
Either.
Well, Just Fun Guitar. I'm not really a motorcycle guy, even though I might have a beard. So I had to Google that, of course, because I didn't know. I thought, I don't know.
Honestly, I thought Triumph.
You would think so. I had to Google it, and according to the Googlyizer, Harley Davidson, I think.
By a year?
Yeah, by a year. So I think... No. Is that right? Crap. I thought I wrote it down.
Triumph 1902, Harley Davidson 1903.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's right. I did. I was like, HD. I was like, what's HD? Harley Davidson.
Oh my God.
$100 bill. Every time you drive it, it's going to cost you at least... Every time you drive your Harley, it's going to cost you at least $100.
At least.
Because something's going to vibrate off, probably. Yeah, Triumph actually apparently is first in 1902. Harley Davidson is 1903, so about 1 year apart. But I was Googling it, and it depends on what you Googlyize. Royal Einfeld is in 1901, is actually older than both of them. Both of them were, neither one of those were the first motorcycle. But one thing is, like, I think it said Harley Davidson is the oldest continuous production. Like Triumph apparently stopped in the 80s. Like they went out of business for a couple of years. Yeah, I guess a bit. And then, got bought by somebody else, an investor or whatever, and
after
reopened.
80 years of being in business.
Yeah, they went out of business for like 10 years or whatever, and then reopened in the 90s. So they were actually out of production for a while. Y'all probably know this if you're in England. But Harley has been in continuous production since 1903. So I think maybe Harley is the longest continuous production, have not ever stopped. Right. And I think I was looking at the Einfeld was maybe the precursor to the Indian motorcycles, which is also a pretty old motorcycle company. Anyway, so
Yeah.
there's some Google facts for people who are not motorcycle people.
There you go.
If you're a motocross,
Motorcycle.
if you're a motorcycle person, you probably already know that. Probably going to get a bunch of comments from people down there arguing about all that stuff. Maybe.
Probably.
Have I ever owned one?
I don't know.
You don't know if I've ever owned a motorcycle?
No.
We've been together forever.
Yeah, but your family could have had one when you were a kid.
Oh, that's right. I guess we could have. I've never owned one.
Yes, you personally, while we've been married in the last 22 years, have never owned a motorcycle. Correct.
Yeah. No. So no. My
Since you're
dad.
45.
I actually did sustain a motorcycle injury though.
Yes, you did.
Forget about that.
My dad owned a motorcycle too.
What did he have?
I don't know, but I remember it being blue.
It's probably a Yamaha.
I don't know. It looked like a real motorcycle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You
Not
should
like
ask
a
him.
crotch rocket or
He'd
anything
pro-
like
yeah,
that.
well-
It wasn't like a motor.
It was like a real.
Yeah, it was like a real, like with handlebars. And,
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a biker
yeah.
motorcycle. When I was a kid, like 2 years old, my dad had a motorcycle. I don't know what it was because obviously I was just a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
I want to guess it was probably like a Kawasaki or something. I'm assuming. I don't think it was a Harley. My dad was not into it enough to where he's going to splurge for the big boy motorcycle. So I can see my dad getting something kind of cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And the story goes, like him and my mom we're out in the country, right? So they're out riding on some back country roads and they hit a patch of gravel and bike goes out from underneath them.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't get hurt badly. I mean, just scrapes and bruises, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, he's like, okay, that was enough. And he sold it and got rid of it. He was like, that was enough.
Mm-hmm.
So he rode it long enough to have a minor mishap. But my injury comes from apparently the house that's actually just right across the. You can literally, if you walk out the front door of RNA Music, you can see there's a house in the corner that we lived in apparently when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And the garage, the bike was in the garage, and apparently I was sitting on it for some reason at like a year and a half or 2 years old or who knows what. And supposedly my uncle was there, my mom and stuff, and apparently, whoop, I just fell right off. Gunk! I guess I fell off the motorcycle and busted my head on the concrete.
Seems about right with his family. Yeah, I can see that.
And I don't think I even got stitches. I think the story goes they just like,
Glued it.
butterfly Band-Aid or something like that. So, because you're like, rubbing on my head and you're like,
Yeah, he has like a crevasse.
a crevice. I have multiple crevasses.
Yes, but
in my
that's just
skull.
from extra skin on your forehead, back head. But this one is like a distinct dent in your cranium, like your skull. See, that one is skin.
It's like the Death Star up here.
Because there's nothing there. But this one is actual, like, you can feel like a dent in your head.
Scars. Scars are cool.
That's what's wrong.
So I sustained a motorcycle injury as a baby. And,
We were not allowed to touch my dad's motorcycle. We got in trouble for just even looking at it. Because he was so scared that we were, it would fall on us.
Dump it over on you,
Yeah.
crush you.
He didn't care if we messed it up. He did not want us to get hurt, Especially, I remember one time he rode it, and I don't know if it was his or if it was somebody's that let him ride it to see if he wanted to buy it because Dad did that stuff. And
Test drive it.
But I remember after he came home and it was parked on the side of, because we had like a driveway that went all the way up to the side of the house. And he was out there messing with it, but the muffler was like really hot, and we were walking up to it. He was like, "Do not touch that! Do not come near that! You can burn your skin off."
Yeah.
I remember being like frightened of motorcycles, and then my sister, whenever they were like freshman or sophomore in high school, so this was like in 89, 90 or something like that.
About to say 90, right?
Yeah. And her friend Angie, her and her brother, because she had a motorcycle, like a legit motorcycle.
Wow.
Because her dad repaired stuff and
Yeah.
was a mechanic. So they had a motorcycle. And she had one. And she was riding with her brother. And she got off and she leaned on the motorcycle and her calf hit. Her calf touched the muffler on that thing and burned like I mean, straight to the muscle. Like, it went and, like, melted into her skin. And so she came over one day and her whole leg is wrapped up and she's on crutches. And we're like, what did you do? She was like, well, you see here. And she had the most country, like, I got off that, my what'd she say, my motorbike. I got off my motorbike the other day and I laid my leg off there and it cooked me right like a pork chop.
That's a very Texas thing.
And I was like, ah. She goes, you want to see it?
That motorbike cooked me like a pork chop.
Right back like a pork chop. I was like, oh my God. And she took off the bandage and showed us her leg, and it was just like this nasty, greasy mess. It looked like a pork chop.
Yummy. That's amazing.
That's
I was
my motorcycle
hungry.
story.
I was hungry.
Triggered.
I feel like I have ridden one, because I think in high school, now things get hazy after a couple of decades, but the bitter bass man, Paul, that's what he drove to school, was a motorcycle. Like, he grew up with motorcycles. His mom worked for Harley Davidson of Dallas for like forever. And then she worked for Harley Davidson of Tyler. His mom was a total like Harley chick.
Yeah, she was.
So he grew up with motorcycles, and I think when he was like 16, like, we all had cars, and he's like, he's riding his motor. It's a little Yamaha or Kawasaki. I can't remember which one it was. He'll know, but he rode it. He brought it over to the house one time, and I feel like I might have driven it like down the street and back, because I remember at some point like having to shift with your toes and doing the thing. Motorcycle. I feel like, but I remember he had at some point like he always had to jump start it. So I'd be like, here, come push me. And so he'd be on it, and I'd be pushing him down the street, and he'd like pop the clutch and it would start. Because something was wrong with the starter. There was one day we did that, like, just and I was not an athlete, right? And
all I can think is Tina Belcher.
Back and forth. Like, it wouldn't start. And then it was like, oh, he had something not turned, and so it wouldn't have started. How many times I pushed? He's like, oh, I'm sorry. So, but off and on, like in college, I thought, man, I'll get me a motorcycle. I've gone back and forth. My cousins used to do motocross.
Yeah, Nicholas wants one, but I'm like, you would look like one of those bears in a Russian circus.
Big grizzly bear on a motorbike.
You wouldn't look right on, someone who's almost 7 foot tall just shouldn't be on a motorcycle.
You got to get like a giant.
You'd have to get like a hog.
Yeah, like
Born to be wild.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth, kind of wanting one. And then several years ago, right in front of our shop here, a couple died on their motorcycle. Like literally in the street. We got to watch them
take their last breath in front of our shop.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that up, Ryan.
Well,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Very traumatic experience. Another triggered.
I think about
Triggered.
Every time I think about getting a motorcycle, I think about them. I'm like...
Every time I walk across the street to our gas station, I think...
it's not a crazy fast highway right here. So it doesn't have to be... You don't have to be going...
No, they were going maybe like 35, 40 miles per hour.
Yeah.
I mean, they were hitting something that was pretty much going nothing.
It was standing still, a big old truck. But I always think about that. I'm like, man, and I have a friend who had a motorcycle accident. He lost his leg from the knee down. Not being stupid, just riding deer around in front of him. And
that's how my uncle died.
What?
Uncle Wyman.
Really? I thought it was a tornado.
No, that's William.
Different uncle.
Yeah. Yeah. Uncle Wyman, he went around a corner, real sharp corner, and hit they had, because it's the base of the Tennessee Mountains, so they have boulders, like rocks, and he hit it too hard, and he slid
into a boulder?
Yeah, there's like a giant rock. We drove by it the last time we were in Alabama. Guy's like, have I ever taken you over there by where Wyman died? I'm like, no, sir. He's like, let's go. He goes, I think I can go by there. And I was like, he's like, see that big boulder?
Let me go share where my brother died.
Yeah. But he was on a motorcycle.
So it's quite dangerous.
Yeah.
I kind of like a little scooter, just scoot around town, just boop, boop, boop. But, right here in town, somebody, they kind of,
I always forget about that.
I don't. I think about it all the time.
Well, I forget that Uncle Wyman died with a motorcycle. Until people
I think about the couple in front of our shop.
Oh, yeah. I think about them, like, constantly. Yeah.
You worked in hospitals, so you've seen all kinds of crazy mess.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I have not.
Yeah.
So
when it happened, I rushed out there. I went straight to them.
I was calling 911.
Yeah. So Ryan manned the phones while I ran out there to them. and made sure that because people were still driving by.
Yeah.
While this couple was in the road. It was so angering.
Surreal.
I yelled at a lot of people that day. I yelled at a lot of people wanting to take off their helmets. I'm like, don't you touch them! Don't do that, you stupid idiot.
Don't move
You're
them.
going to break their neck.
Their neck could already be broken.
Yes, you could just kill them, literally.
You can make it worse.
But anyways, yeah. Moving on.
Good times. Thanks for the question. Just fun guitar.
That was a lot of segues in a lot of crazy different directions.
It really was.
Speaking of motorcycles.
Next question. I was going to buy a little Honda Grom. I think I'm still maybe will. I don't know. Mr. LD. Hey Ryan, speaking of Testament, I've always felt that they should be listed in the Big Four and not Anthrax. Thoughts? # Peloton. So we were talking about the Big Four last week and Testament, who I never ever listened to back in the day. I knew who they were, knew who their guitar player was, and read articles and interviews with Alex Skolnick and all this sort of stuff. Never ever listened to them, but I knew they were right there, kind of nipping at the heels of Megadeth and Metallica and Anthrax and Slayer, and they were right in there.
Yeah.
And I only recently decided to crack open the catalog and listen to some Testament. And I was like, holy smokes, what have I been missing? Like, I missed out. My friends didn't do me a solid and like, hey, listen to this. Because it was great. Very thrashy. And I will say, Mr. LD, in retrospect, I could get down with that. Like, kick Anthrax.
With that business?
Yeah, kick Anthrax out of the Big Four and put Testament in there instead. Because not that Anthrax sucks or anything like that. And I've seen them in concert. I saw them with Clash of the Titans reunion tour. Slayer, Megadeth.
What's their main guy's name that everybody knows?
Anthrax, Scott Ian.
Okay,
with the goatee.
Yeah. He was always on VH1.
Yeah, married to Meatloaf's daughter.
Oh, that's right.
He's a cool dude, like Scotty and Anthrax. And Charlie Benante, their drummer, is a great drummer.
Yeah.
But I never really ever got into Anthrax like at all. I just was never a big thing for me. And listening to Testament now, I'm like, yeah, those guys are thrash. I don't really consider Anthrax very thrashy, honestly. Certainly not like Slayer or even Metallica and Megadeth. So probably going to get some hate from some Anthrax fans.
You're fine.
But, I would probably agree with that sentiment. I don't
understand people throwing any kind of hate about anything other than what's really important.
Right. When it comes down to like,
good God,
who's your favorite thrash band, and like watching people die on the street in motorcycle wrecks, which one's more important?
It's like reckless driving. Which
right.
should you focus your anger
taking
on?
away really old people's license, or which is the most thrashy Big Four thrash band? So
priorities, people.
Yeah, priorities. I kind of agree with that, Mr. LD. I'm kind of feeling that right now.
Okay.
Make your argument as to why Anthrax is better than Testament, or Testament is better than Anthrax down below as a thrash band. All right, and that brings us to a pretty fun part of the video that I enjoyed quite a bit. It's called Comment of the Day.
Comment of the day. Comment of the day, yeah.
Make a comment.
Make the comment, we read the comments.
I love Comment of the Day. Comment of the Day goes to John Harpole.
Yeah, he's had a couple of them.
Owner of #1 RNA Music Limited Edition CMG, only 5 in existence.
Yes, right.
Really, we could say the Big 5. The Big 5. John owns #1. He said #Peloton, #Big Texas Babies.
Yes.
He says, your youngin' is 6'4". OMG.
Yes.
OMG. Yes.
Yes.
We talked about our babies last week and their sizes when they were born.
Yes. So Ryan's pretty tall. He's not a short guy. He's 6'2"-ish, right about 6'2".
Just a millimeter under 6'2".
And we really have to measure Aiden, and I think Nicholas again, because I think Nicholas has grown a little bit. I really
Taller?
do. Taller. I think he's both. They have both.
I think he's broader now.
I think that we'll have to measure them because it seems whenever Aiden's next to you, he is quite a bit taller than you.
Yeah.
So I mean,
maybe
it feels
because because I'm in my socks and they're in their shoes. That could be it.
Yeah, sometimes, but sometimes it's first thing in the morning and they're just walking into the kitchen and you're just like, good God, child. You're just a big kid.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll have to measure him.
To our knowledge.
Measure them both, actually.
To our knowledge, Nicholas, last time we measured Nicholas, which wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 6 months ago.
We should do like a B-roll clip of us getting measured. And
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Last time we really kind of checked him, Nicholas was like 6'7". 6'7".
And a little more.
And a smidge.
Yes. Like 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah. And we have estimated Aiden is at least 2 inches taller than me, just from our shoulders.
Yes.
Then I'm like, crap. If I'm 6'2", he's got to be 6'4".
Yeah. So it's like, that's an inch. So, yeah.
Yeah. He's built like a friggin' tank.
Yeah. He's beefed to the hills like a Marvin Gar heifer.
Yeah, he's solid as a rock. You're not going to push him over.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he's just... If he wanted to play football, he would be a super lineman.
Yeah. All he'd have to do is literally just stand there.
And he's strong as a friggin' ox, too.
Yeah, he is.
He doesn't even really know it. He's
No.
sort of like oblivious to how strong he is.
Yeah.
I'm just like... Sorry.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Because that's... Now, if you see pictures of us together, you're like, oh, Ryan's just a little guy. He's not that big. It's like, no, I'm not.
No.
I'm not little.
Yeah.
Usually in most rooms I walk into, I'm one of the bigger guys in the room.
Yeah. I remember when Nicholas our oldest was in the 6th grade. He was 6 foot in the 6th grade. That's what I always remember that.
11.
Where at 11 years old, he was 6 foot tall. And I remember, because my parents at the time still lived in South Texas, and that's 8 hours away, so we never really got to see them. And when he hit 6 foot, I was like, oh my gosh. And then it was like 4 or 5 months later, he was 6'1" in the 6th grade. So he was already into the 6 foots.
Yeah.
Is
When he
in
was
the 6th
12,
grade.
we were the same height.
Yes. And so I said, oh, Papa and Nana are coming. I think it was like spring for their birthdays or something like that. And I was like, Papa and Nana are coming to visit you. We have to take a picture with you next to Papa because you're way taller than him now. You're taller because my dad's only like right at 6. He's on the under end of 6'1". And Nicholas was like, no, I'm not taller than Papa. I was like, yeah, dude, you're significantly taller than Papa now. I don't think we had measured him yet. And he was like, no, I'm not. And I have a picture of whenever we saw him. And it was so funny because he was so significantly tall. Because my dad just appears to be a very large man. Everybody who sees my dad, they think of him as so much taller than he is because his presence is so big. We're like, what is your dad, like 6'5", 6'6"? I'm like, no, he's like 6 foot. But, that's just who he is. And he was just like, no. And when he finally saw him, he was like, he had to look down at his papa. And then it kind of dawned on him that he was as tall as he was, and that was just when now he's 21. That was almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So
we were in the kitchen the other day, and then both of them kind of walked into the kitchen at the same time, and was like, blocking out the sun.
Right.
Children. I'm just like.
But in that picture, it was so cute because my mom is shorter than I am. I'm 5'7". I'm practically 5'8". So, but my mom's like 5'4", 5'5", something like that. And so it's like my mom, Aiden, is like Aiden, my mom, my dad, Nicholas, like it was, but now like Nicholas and Aiden are like this.
Yeah.
They're like real close together and they just tower over my dad. It was so funny.
It's crazy.
It's so cute.
It's crazy, John Harpole. I never would have thought. It's like, I am now the smallest man in my house.
Yeah. How do you think I feel? I feel like a little. I feel
you feel
like a little
protected.
person. I do feel very protected.
Incredibly safe and secure and not worried about anything.
Of course, the boys think I can literally like rip a man in two, which I love because I've intimidated.
You've
them.
trained them since they were 0 to be like, Mom is this.
Mom can take care of herself.
Yeah, but they have that son thing where like when we're walking through Walmart, the 4 of us. It's like she's like. Got a whole,
I have an entourage.
Of bodyguards.
Yeah. It's like one day all of y'all should be like in these black tees and like black pants and like
with little
earbuds and
sunglasses.
Stuff. And I'll dress up and we'll go to like places and y'all walk in front of me and like be like, sorry.
Please step back.
Sorry, stay back.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah!
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, and that brings the final question. There was
There you
hardly
go.
any questions this week, which
Yeah,
is
we
great
did good.
because
It's
I wanted
only
to save.
7:30.
I need to save some time. It's only been 25 minutes to get to 3 questions. Final question
Oh,
by
Lord.
Alpha's Music.
What?
Who's
oh
this?
my gosh, that's not even.
Alpha's
that's
Music
not right.
has a question. Angela,
What?
what is one of your favorite things about Ryan? How is it working together so much?
This is so weird. Do I have to answer this?
Yes,
Okay.
you do. You could have. You have a YouTube channel. You could have asked a question if you wanted to, but you didn't.
Oh
So
my.
Alpha's Music wants to know what's one of
Alpha's
your
Music
favorite
wants
things.
to know. One of
about
our
Ryan.
employees wrote this. Okay.
Yeah.
What is one of my one of my favorite
'Cause
things?
I know you have a million favorite things about. I mean, they assume that you have a million favorite things about Ryan. So
Okay, I would say since it's one, it's not in any. It's not like my top.
he's a loud drinker. What's your favorite thing?
No, God. Yes, you better drink that down, bud. It's quietly. I think of you. It was that movie, The Silent.
Silence.
One of my favorite things about you, probably your sense of humor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're funny. And our youngest gets that from you, for sure. I mean, I'm pretty funny.
Oh yeah. You crack me up.
But I think that was one of my favorite things because that was one of the things that I never really had in boyfriends, like as a kid. And so whenever we started talking to each other on the phone, and we talked for each other for 9 hours one night, and we stayed up
In
until
college.
like 4 o'clock in the morning or something
talking.
crazy, just talking and talking and talking. And I never laughed so hard, other than my own family, because my family's funny. I love Dad's sense of humor. My mom is even funny, and we would sit as a family, and that was big in our family. Was our laughter, and so finding somebody that made me laugh as much as you did, it was just so funny. I loved it, and I think that was one of the main things that, I mean, other than you just being completely adorable, that I was like,
Toasted
okay,
doors.
if he doesn't have a great sense of humor, then because
I know he's sexy, but
that's, and one thing about me is that if I when it comes to like movies and stuff like that, comedies are my go-to. Like that is my go-to with anything. I will go find a comedy any day, or anything that has slapstick, or anything that's just silly, that lightens the mood, because I love things that make me happy. That's probably why everybody's like, you don't age, because laughter does good like a medicine. And when you're happy,
that's in a book somewhere.
yeah, somewhere,
If you're happy and you know it,
clap your hands.
laugh a little bit.
So yeah, I think that's one of the many things that I love about you.
One of your favorite things about Ryan
is that your sense of humor.
I make you laugh.
Yes, you make me laugh. Make 'em laugh. Yeah. And how is it working together so much? We don't really work together that much anymore. I mean, we're in the same building.
We're in the same building.
But it's not like we work like together. And
You're in one lesson room. I'm in the other lesson room.
yeah. I'm about like 30 yards away. So,
But we get to see each other in between students.
yes. But I love it. I've always loved it. I'd rather do that than anything else, really.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of these days, I'll lose all my other jobs, and I'll be able to just
All your side gigs, just
I'll
like,
be able
forget
to-
those.
I'll be able to just work here.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
You probably could right now, if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But you like them Benjamins.
Yeah. I like paying off them bills.
I like paying off them bills.
But yeah, so I like it. It's been fun. It's not challenging. It's not like, oh God, I just want to break from him. It's never been that, like, ever. 0 times ever.
I wish you'd just leave and go to work.
Yes.
Please.
And like, God, I just can't wait to get away. You know, I've never.
Thank God I get to go to work and get away from my wife.
Right.
Right.
I
We
never
know people like
I
that.
never understood that. My parents were not like that at all. My parents loved spending time with each other. So I never understood that when people I never understood that when people said that they didn't like spending time with their spouse, because I'm like, why are you married?
Why'd you get married if you don't like each other?
Good God. You know, like there's this whole death to you part
That makes no
type
sense.
thing, so I don't understand. So I've never had those feelings, so I've always enjoyed working with you.
That was a big goal of us when we were a young couple, because we had, like, she worked at one place, I worked at another place, and it was like,
You know, when you
You know.
dream and you plan things out, like, what is our goal? And both of us pretty much, like, immediately said to be able to work together and, you know,
I want
on
to
our
see you
own.
all day.
Yes, on our own time. Because it was like there were days where he would be working, or especially like when we first got married and he was all day at school until late nights because he had projects due and music to learn, and
rehearsals and
that would be
practicing.
all week long, and it would just be really, well, I was pregnant for the first 9 months of our, well, you know, part of it, and then for the next time it was like Nicholas. I had Nicholas during the week, and then he was at school all day, and then we were just kind of raising Nicholas and kind of just making it, and then I work on weekends, so it was just like we kind of always missed each other.
A month after our 1 year anniversary is when we had our son.
Yes.
So
and then we just kind of
13 months. 13 months after we got married, we were parents.
Yes.
It was like,
And
wow.
so whenever we were doing all that stuff, it just we kind of always missed each other. He would work nights, I would work days, or vice versa, and we were just always kind of ships passing in the night. And even when we moved to Tulsa, when Nicholas was 5 and Aiden was 5 months, it was the same way.
Hustling.
He would be working late nights. I would be at school or working 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. at the hospital, then go into Bible school, and then it was just always that. So when we were done, we're like, okay, listen, we need to figure something out.
Yeah.
So that we can make this a full-time gig.
Because I want to see you more.
Yes, because
I
I
like
like
you.
your face.
I like you a lot.
You're my favorite.
You're my favorite. You're more my favorite.
Yeah. So
You're my favorite more.
yeah, I'm a people person, but I don't like people. So I like good people. I don't like all the crappy ones that are here now and around the world. There's a lot of crappy people. I like you guys. Y'all are nice.
Alpha's music is great.
Yeah.
John Harpole is awesome. Mr. LD, fantastic.
Yeah.
Just fun
Fun
guitar.
guitar.
Captain
Yeah.
Reliable.
Yes. I mean, you have a lot of you guys are just so sweet and so wonderful and so supportive. And so being able to work together.
Walking Dead almost got comment of the day.
Oh.
But-
Dum dum dum.
I had to go with John.
So, but yeah, I love it. It's not work.
It's
really.
not. It's not frustrating or annoying or like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny whenever like people would say stuff about their bosses, and it's just like, listen, I've had worse bosses, and you've
clearly not had enough bosses.
you haven't had enough bosses, but it was like, I don't really know what that's like anymore. So, because we're our own
you the boss.
bosses. We're our own bosses.
Like a
But
boss.
I really enjoy being able to have that kind of freedom. And yeah, it's nice.
All right. Great question, Alpha's Music. Thank you so much for that final question.
Oh, my
and
Lord.
that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you guys so much. If you have a question for next week, because there were really only 2 real questions.
Yeah, but they were very personal questions.
They were great questions.
They're
Thank
great
you, Just
questions.
Fun Guitar, Captain Reliable,
Yes.
Mr. LD. Thank you so much. I think everybody was distracted by the amazing conversation that we had last week. We had a lot of comments.
Yes.
I think
y'all
people
were
comment,
talking.
they comment,
just not commenting.
Whatever topic we're on,
I mean,
they would leave a
not,
comment.
Questioning.
And they probably had enough comments, they maybe just forgot to ask a question. But that's okay. Because honestly, last week was an hour long, and it was crazy hard for me to edit. So shorter is actually better.
Yeah.
Editing video. So
There you go.
thank you guys so much. If you have a question next week, leave it. If you have a comment about any of our discussions about motorcycles and giant Texas babies and Testament versus Anthrax and working with your spouse and all that stuff, comment down below. And if you watch this entire video, which I'm hoping is like less than 40 minutes,
Maybe.
we'll find out. Secret hashtag of the day is hashtag pork chop.
Okay.
We know that you watched
I was
this
like,
entire
It's on my leg.
Sizzle-
He's like
sizzle
going
on
like
your
this on my
calf.
calf.
You got a porky chop.
I was like, snakes? Tattoos? What are you doing?
Yes, just hashtag snake tattoos. No, it's sizzle. Cook my leg like a pork chop. Hashtag pork chop. We all know that you watched this whole video. Thank you guys so much. That's our little secret with the real viewers who make it to the end of the video and they don't just tune out 5 minutes in. Thank you guys so much. And we will see y'all in the next video. Until then, keep the music alive.
Don't forget it.
Music needs you.
And you need the music.
We need to keep the music alive for the next generation of pork
Yeah,
chop
we do.
cookers.
That's right.
And
Wash them legs.
I want some Dairy Palace right now.
Ooh, yeah, that sounds good.
Butter Palace. Just me and you.
Yeah.
Some burgers and fries.
Yeah.
Children don't
You
get
better
that.
not be tempting me, Lolly. I swear.
I've
had a long day.
I will make good. It is first Monday though.
Yes, it is.
Think it'll
But
be-
it's a slow first Monday. There ain't a lot of people here.
we can go to what? We can go to Whataburger. We can go to Dairy Palace, Butter Palace. So excited. Kaiser.
Butter Palace.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Maybe one day.
But they are amazing people right here in Canton, Texas. I love to do business with. Get you a Kaiser Capo. Order a Kaiser Capo from RNA Music.
Because we're literally getting from the source. Source is a source.
If you want a Kaiser Capo, let me know. I got the inside track on some Kaiser Capos, y'all. I'm just saying. All right, see y'all next video.
Do-do-do.
Only a Kaiser's good enough.